the managers have such an easy job. I call it the Bermuda Triangle. And if you think of three main objectives for the practice manager, and as long as you keep all three main people happy, then you're doing your job. And to try to get all three of those happy, it's very tough, actually. So when I think of the Bermuda Triangle, I think at the top of the tier, you certainly have your practice owners that you're responsible for and making sure that they're happy. I think the second group, of course, is going to be your staff, and the third group being your clients. So if we can make that Bermuda Triangle happy, then we've certainly done our job. But unfortunately, trying to keep all 3 points happy and going is sometimes very challenging. So as we look at what's most important, I would say as we concentrate on staff, if we can make our staff happy, we can make an effective work environment and keep them going and efficient, then I think you're going to find that your practice owners and your clients are going to be extremely happy and they're going to be rewarded for that. So as we look at our top challenge, I would really spend some time with your staff. And we sometimes always are working on urgent issues. This last week when we did our leadership seminar, we talked about urgent issues and how sometimes those can take the place of really our main objectives and our mission and vision of the hospital. And truly we want to strategically plan and move that hospital forward. And we can't do that if we're sitting putting out fires all the time. And so I think it's going to be better to be proactive with your staff, and this includes maybe you take a day out of the week, or maybe you take a couple hours out of each day, and you really you sit down with each of the staff members and just touch base with them. This is something that could happen in 2 or 3 minutes. Pull them into your office and just make sure that everything's going well. I think within every 6 to 12 months we really should be touching base with them on what are their challenges and where is future growth in the hospital. If these staff become stagnant, they're not going to be happy, and in turn the practice owners and the clients aren't going to be happy. We need to work with them and be proactive in creating roadmaps for them for future growth in the hospital. That's going to be one of our main challenges. I think it's also going to be to communicate the values of the hospital and certainly where the hospital is going to go, and making sure that they're on board with that, because if they're not, they're going to slow down that strategic planning and pushing that I was talking about. So that's going to be one of the main focuses. I think it's going to be the hardest part too, is sometimes having to say goodbye to employees or saying it's time for you to go. And I sometimes will use the analogy of sometimes we have staff that are on a different ship going a different direction, and sometimes they've contributed for several years. And so sometimes it's time just to part ways on good terms and say, I think it's time for us to go in a different direction. And that can be extremely hard. I'd say that's one of the hardest challenges is letting go of staff. But if we can do it, we're going to be much better off.